You're listening to episode 54. Welcome to Behind the Brand, a podcast dedicated to strategically building your online business. Here we go behind the scenes and share stories and strategies that can help you build your own dream business that supports your own dream life. I'm your host, Kelsey Kerslake, and I'm the CEO of pinegateroad, a branding and web design agency for online businesses and influencers. We create online presences that aren't just pretty, they're powerful. To learn more about working with pinegateroad, head to pinegateroad.com and schedule a free consult call. Now on to the show. Hey guys, welcome to the show today. I'm so excited to have you here, as always. Today's guest is Christine Bluebow, and she is a copywriter who writes for creative entrepreneurs who are running online businesses. And I have been interacting with her on Instagram a lot lately, and the words, I didn't even mean to say the words because she's a copywriter, but her actual strategy that she's using on Instagram and how she's connecting with people and how she's really informing people about how to run their business in a really sustainable, cool way just kind of drew me in. And I was so excited when she said yes to come on the show and talk all about writing compelling copy and sales copy for your business so that you can have an online presence that really converts and really just captures people's attention as soon as they are on your site and makes them feel really at home when you're talking to your ideal target audience member. So if you're looking to infuse more personality, more of who you are and your big why into your copy, this episode is going to be for you. Today's episode is sponsored by Evolution Live, a 3-day event for creative business owners hosted by success strategist Erin Morgan. I have Erin here today to chat through how this event can help transform your business. Hey, Erin, how are you?
Hey, Kelsey. I'm great.
I'm so excited to have you here to share about this amazing live event happening. When is it happening?
It's happening October 18th through the 21st
Yay!
of 2018. Yeah.
So this is Evolution Live. It is a 3-day event. And who is this for?
It is for committed, passionate female entrepreneurs, creative service providers who really want to transform their business.
Awesome. So tell me some of the things that are going to be happening at Evolution Live.
Amazing speakers, including myself, who are committed to sharing really high value trainings with you that you can personalize to your business. And then the next thing is an action plan, right? So not only are you going to learn a lot of information, but you're actually going to have a way to implement it in your business as soon as you get home.
Awesome. And I'm so excited, first of all, to be there, but secondly, to connect with so many people in person, because I know for me, that is a huge business builder as far as making new connections, meeting new people. And that energy just happens to grow my business along the way. So I am pumped to be in the room with so many like-minded women and just have that in-person energy. And super excited.
Me too. I really wanted to gather women because this online world can be really lonely, right? We don't have those in-person connections. So I really wanted to gather all the amazing women I know and many more who I haven't met yet to a room where we can learn and be together and be supported. How a bunch of fun.
I know. I'm so excited. Okay. So if people want to come to this event, where can they go?
They can go to my website. It's Erin Morgan, ERYN Morgan.com/evolution, and then a little dash, and then the word live. So erinmorgan.com/evolution-live. And I'm sure that we'll be able to put that link somewhere that's easy to follow, but that's the link to get your ticket.
Absolutely. I will have that on my site as well. So if you go to the podcast tab, we'll have it there. So thank you so much for sharing about this. And I will see you in October. And I hope you all are there. I want to give you real life hugs.
Yes. I can't wait to see everybody live.
Yay. Hi, Christine. It is awesome to have you here today. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat with you. We've connected on Instagram and I've loved everything you've been sharing. You really hit that mix between personal and professional and giving great advice on Instagram, and I just connected immediately with everything you were sharing. So it's exciting to have you here.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Love the kind words. I'm glad that I'm having that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm having that impact.
Yeah, it's hard to find that mix sometimes. So I'm like, oh, Christine's doing this so well. Like I'm taking tips from you. So
Thanks. That's awesome.
so awesome. I would love for you to start off by just introducing yourself and sharing a little bit about what you do with our listeners today.
Sure. So my name's Christine Bluebaugh, and I am a copywriter. I work primarily with online service-based businesses, and I do done-for-you copywriting services for things like websites, launches, and funnels. So a lot of sales pages, email sequences, landing pages, and that sort of thing. And I like to say that I'm about putting more soul into the sales process. Like I really believe that copy is a conversation between the business owner and their ideal client. And I really focus on building genuine relationships through that process. So I want everyone involved in the marketing system to feel really good about it and to feel like they're getting a lot of value and not necessarily being like quote unquote sold to, but just invited on a journey and being offered something that's really valuable.
Like kind of building a relationship through the words.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. I'd love to ask our first question. Why is copy so important when it comes to building an online business?
Yes. So for online businesses, like so much of our marketing is happening without us actually being present. So people are coming to our website, they're coming to our social media channels, they're, landing on our sales page or getting an email sequence, and we're not actually there to speak with them as we might be if they came into like our brick and mortar store. So their impression of us is being formed by what they read. So, and since so much of our marketing is happening through those words, I just think it's just so essential to have that on point and have it really being expressing our messages, speaking to the right people, and building those relationships that I talked about before.
Awesome. I love that. I also like building websites. I know the importance of like great copy, and sometimes it like helps inform how you're actually like clicking through the website. Like I guess I would like to, I mean, I did not even like prep this one, but like when you're doing that like website copy, how important is it to like for you to know the pages, like what the actions are supposed to be happening, like as the audience is working with that site?
Yeah, that's definitely something that I talk with my client and or their designer about is kind of what's the goal? Like what's the desired outcome? So that way we can decide, what those calls to action are going to be. So as people are going through, it's leading them in a way that makes sense and is kind of getting to that, that big goal that they have in mind, which obviously is getting clients and customers and all of that. But
yeah, and kind of like building that relationship along the way as well.
Yeah. And making it just easy for people who are coming and navigating, because I'm sure you've seen it. Like you go to a website sometimes and it's just so confusing. You have no idea where to go or what to do. And it's just like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Now.
Or there's not enough information. Like sometimes I'll go to sites that are beautiful, but they don't give me enough like actual information, or they don't make that connection. Like they'll just be beautiful photos. And then you're like, well, what are you actually doing? Who are you serving? What's going on here? Like I saw a site this morning and I was like, they need some copy help. I was like, it's designed beautifully, but there's just, it's not leading to that connection.
And copy and design really do go hand in hand. Like if they both need to be working together and, doing their jobs. And if one is off, it impacts the effectiveness of the other. So
totally. How do you kind of navigate that, like working in between the two, like as a copywriter and working with the designer, like who kind of takes the lead there?
So I don't know if in designer world you guys have an idea about this, but I know in copywriter land, we always say that copy comes first. So, like I'm in a group online with like thousands of copywriters, and we always talk about this. if a client has already designed their website and then they come and they want copy, it's a lot harder to create the copy and have it to like make it fit into what's already been designed. So typically it's easier to write the copy if we have the creative ability to just write it, and then the designer can take it and create the design that will best showcase the message. Hopefully that answers your question.
No, it does. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so just kind of like zooming out here, I'd love to know the difference, like if somebody was going to do their own copy, like what are some things that are like quote unquote good copy versus bad copy? What should people avoid? What should they try to include in their website or on their online presence?
Yeah. So I think good copy, like we've kind of already touched on, it guides the reader kind of on a journey. And I think one of the mistakes that people make, especially with websites, they think like, okay, this is my website. It's supposed to be about me. And so they can focus a little bit too much on themselves. It is about you, but it's in the context of how you help your clients. So you want to have them in mind and think about when they land on your site, how is it impacting them? What's it making them think and feel? And what's that experience like for them? So you want to really just always start with them in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that it's just got to be clear. I think one of the biggest issues that I see in people's copy is that things just, maybe they don't really make sense, or it's unclear, like you said, like who is this for, like who are they helping, or like what do they do really. So I would say those are some important things to keep in mind for good copy.
I love that you brought up like the talking about yourself, because that's something I see, like, I mean, probably 90% of people when they come to their website, they're wanting to talk about themselves because that's what the site is about. And it's, you have to actually talk about the person that you're wanting to connect with, which is that audience member. So that's so important. What are some ways in which they could do that throughout their site?
So there are a few things that you want to know about your ideal client. One is kind of like, where are they right now? What's going on with them? Where do they want to be? What's stopping them from having what they want? And kind of what have they already tried that hasn't worked for them? Like those are some general things that you want to keep in mind. And when I'm writing copy, almost every page for a website will start off with some kind of a message directed at the person who's reading, so that it connects with them and makes them think like, oh, this is for me, or that sounds like me. I want to continue reading because, this is speaking to what I'm going through or what I want. And I think that's another thing, kind of opposite of what I see a lot, is a lot of people will start off with, their headline will be more geared towards them, or like who they are or what they do. And I think it's really impactful when you just always start with the person that you're talking to.
Absolutely. I know I love reading copy where I'm like, this person gets me. And that's how you want to try to like understand exactly who your target audience is, like how they even speak, like bringing in some of their, I always say, this is in my homework for my branding clients. I'm like, what are the slang terms that people are using? Yeah. And I feel like I'm literally 10 years old saying like slang. But I always want people to feel like they're using the words and the verbiage that their target audience is using.
Absolutely.
Throughout the experience, even though I'm not necessarily writing the copy in our experience, sometimes, whatever. But we just need to like know exactly who that target audience is and how they interact in the world, what their problems are, etc.
Absolutely.
So I know when I'm working with clients, we kind of like talk to them at the beginning and we're like, if you haven't found out the problems that your people are working through, kind of like keep that in mind as you're interacting with future clients so that you can kind of dissect and figure out some of those pain points that they're working through. Do you have any tips for figuring out those pain points, or figuring out the things that people should make those connection points in the copy, how to source them, how to find them for their target audience.
Absolutely. So some of the best places are on sales calls. So anytime you're getting on the phone with a potential client, you're probably asking them, or you should be, what's the issue that I can help you with? What's going on? And it's perfectly fine, regardless of what industry you're in, to go a little deeper with them. I know, like, for a lot of coaches, they will go deeper automatically kind of with their people. But I've noticed that a lot of people more in like our space, like copywriters, designers, and things, it's more just like, oh, okay, you need a website, let's talk about that. But if we take the time to really talk with the person we're on the phone with about what's going on in their life or business, ask some more meaningful questions, people are generally like happy to talk about those things. You can get some really great insight and really specific language from people that way. And then if you do have a business model where you're doing client sessions, again, paying attention to the specific things they're talking about. You can even, if you have a Facebook group, you can pay attention to what people are saying. You can do that in other people's Facebook groups where you know that your people are. Basically anywhere that your people are hanging out, just go there and pay attention to what they're talking about and actually write down and keep a file of the words and phrases and examples and things that they're using.
Yeah, I'm constantly screenshotting things and making like little notes in my phone if I'm reading it out in the while I'm walking or something like that. It's I feel like we have to go into like super secret spy mode.
It is kind of like that for sure. But it's definitely not creepy. Like it's helpful. You want to do it.
Yeah, because you want to be able to have that conversation with that target audience member and talk like they're talking.
Exactly.
So Christine, what are some general tips that you can give people about writing copy that sells?
Yes. So we've already talked about a couple of the most important ones, just understanding who you're talking to and using their language. Those are huge. Another one is just making sure that what you're saying is clear. A couple of good ways to do that is read it out loud. If you're stumbling over your words, not clear. Have other people read what you've written, and if it makes sense to them, great. If not, make adjustments. So clarity is huge. Another really important thing that I think I see a lot, especially in websites, is like making sure that you're inviting people to take the next step, which is including the call to action. So I see so many times I go to someone's like about page and it's just like the blurb about them and like nothing else. So you're really missing opportunities if you're not telling people like, hey, this is what you can do next to learn more. Always invite people to take the next step. Don't assume that they know what you think you want them to do, because they don't. So that's really something important.
Yeah, this is something we've gone over. I have a Pinegateroad Academy for designers building their businesses. And it's something I'm always talking to my clients there, and I'm just like, make the invitation. Like when I started this academy, just as like a side story here, all I did was I put out like 2 Instagram posts and I just invited people to send me a DM and hop on a call with me to talk about it. I had no sales page, nothing. Like I just had an idea of what this was. And just making that invitation like filled it up. It was kind of crazy, like how I just needed to make the invitation. And I think so many people are afraid of, quote unquote, being salesy or things like that. And this goes, I think, just beyond the actual copywriting, but that, accepting the receiving when it comes to that sales process and how you're marketing. And it can be simple as send me a DM, let's connect. Like it doesn't have to be crazy, but sometimes people have that fear of putting themselves out there. Do you have any kind of like suggestions about that, or thoughts, or getting over that kind of putting out that invitation? Like there is a little bit of that like mental thing too, I feel, that people go through, not just finding the right words to say.
It's so true. And So I think one thing is that, you know, it takes practice getting comfortable like with anything. And so starting small, like with something like what you suggested, just asking people to send you a DM on social media. It doesn't even have to be about a specific offer. It could just be about, you know, tell me, you know, something you're struggling with in your business or your life or whatever, you know, whatever thing you help people with. And just starting that conversation with people. You can do it in your emails, you can do it in, you know, on your website, but keep it simple and get some practice. Also keep in mind that most of the time the invitations that you're making, like, they shouldn't necessarily be like book a call or buy my thing. You want people to take smaller steps towards you, because that's like where the relationship building happens. So if you say like, you know, DM me and tell me, you know, something that you're struggling with in your business, and they DM you, then you can start a conversation. And if you, through that conversation, it seems appropriate to say, hey, I can help you with this. Why don't we get on a call and talk about it? That feels so much more natural and easy than just being like, you know, book a call, pay me now, buy my thing. You know what I mean? So I would suggest that. And also keep in mind that I'm guessing if you're listening to this, you actually have something that helps people and you're not out to swindle anyone. So keep in mind that like you're giving people a solution. You're not trying to just like sell them snake oil or steal their money.
Totally. And there's that like weird thing that like comes with the belief and like what you provide to people. And I think that we're all our own worst enemy. Sometimes. But if something that helps me kind of like get over that fear a little bit is like keeping like your proof in a jar and saying like pulling out, like, I've done this, like, here are the statistics to prove it. Like, I'm not just trying to get somebody's money because you're going through that scarcity or abundance like mindset. And if you are in that little bit of a scarcity, you're like, is somebody going to give me the money? Like, am I going to make this next sale? But just pulling out that proof and being like, I've done this before. Like, people trust me to do this. I'm excellent at what I do. And going forth in that mindset, I think is
Absolutely
really helpful. Because we all have our moments of doubt, or maybe I'm just projecting that.
Nope. We all do. And I run into it all the time.
Yeah.
I've definitely felt it and continue to feel it sometimes depending on the situation. So yeah.
Yeah. You just have to like step into your expert pants and
exactly.
make it happen.
Exactly.
Be like, I actually know what I'm doing. And pull out the proof so you can like really, step into that and believe in yourself.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So if people are going to hire out their copywriting, what should they be looking for in a copywriter, and what might they have done before they start doing their copywriting with a professional?
Yeah. Okay. So things to look for, I would say, are, testimonials and case studies, like with any service provider. So you can, see what they've accomplished and what other people have to say about them, what kind of results they help people get. I would also say one of the more important things is working with someone who has a pretty thorough like research and onboarding process. So I think one of the biggest issues that people have when they do work with copywriters that scares people away is that it ends up not sounding like them, or they end up feeling like they have to rewrite things themselves. And that's, I think that that's a result of just not enough information being gathered in the beginning.
That's a fear I have for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So like for like my process, for example, like I get on the phone with someone for 90 minutes to 2 hours to go over every part of their business so that I can get a clear picture of their voice and who we're talking to and what their offers are about. I gather writing samples and all the testimonials, basically everything that I could need to write so that it sounds like they've written it themselves. So I think that's really important. And then, just go kind of with your gut. Like, do you feel good about having a working relationship with this person, and, maybe you like hop on their email list to see like what their writing is like. And if you if you like the way that they write.
So what do they need to have done before they might engage with like a professional copywriter?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, they just need to have a really clear understanding of the things that we've talked about, who they help, what their offer is, the transformation that they help to facilitate. The more clear they are on all of those things, the better that their copywriter is going to be able to take that and, convey it in the way that they would in their message. I mean, those are the main things. I think it kind of depends maybe on the copywriter. When someone comes to me, there's not like a ton of preliminary work that they need to have done. Like we take care of all of that together, because my view of done for you copywriting is it's not just about the finished copywriting project. It's also about taking that off of your plate so that you don't have to spend all of the mental energy and physical energy it takes to do that process. Because I think that's what holds a lot of people back. It's just like so overwhelming, the task itself. So I'm not just selling finished copy, I'm selling like peace of mind.
I love that. So I'd love to hear like about a successful copywriting experience and kind of what that transformation looks like for your clients.
Okay.
I know I'm like throwing that at you.
That's okay. Let me think about it. Okay. So I recently worked with someone who is a business coach, and she has always written her own copy. She's been in business for a while and she's done well for herself, but she's kind of gotten to the point where she was like, I could do this, but I just don't want to. She's like a mom of 3, married, just has a lot of other things going on. And she was like, I just want to have the time. The time is more valuable for me than, the money that I would spend on a copywriter. So we worked on her sales page copy for a new launch, and she was thrilled with it. And she felt so, I don't know, the way she conveyed it to me, it was like she just felt so much more relaxed in her launch. And then she was launching a brand new group program, got her 10 people in, had a 10K launch, and was totally pleased with the outcome. So,
yay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what kind of pieces and parts did you work on with her? Was it the website? Was it the actual like emails, or part of that marketing?
Yeah. So she and I worked on her sales page specifically. So this was a brand new program that she was launching, and I'm trying to remember, this was a few months ago. She was doing like a free challenge leading into her launch. And she's the type of business owner who keeps her emails like super short and sweet. So she was like, I'll just write those out myself. But, a long form sales page is kind of burly. So she
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
So let's talk about the sales pages and what are your philosophies on them? Like, I just want to hear all of them because everybody has their own unique approach to like tackling them.
Yeah. Do you mean like the actual process for creating them, or do you mean just like
what to even include? That kind of stuff.
Okay. So what you're going to include is going to kind of depend on the style of launch that you're doing. So for some people, let's say you're launching a mastermind and you're launching it to people that you've worked with previously. Like they already know who you are and like what you do because they've worked with you. So your sales page might be fairly short, and it might just be more inclusive of like what the program entails. But then let's say you have a launch and you're launching a program that could have unlimited people in it. You're using affiliates and you're getting in front of all these audiences that don't know who you are already. Your sales page is going to be much longer. It's going to have, an introduction that is like really speaking to people who don't know who you are. There's going to be a lot more about your story and why you're the expert and the person to listen to. You're going to have a lot more testimonials, a lot more details about everything that's included because you're not getting on a sales call with anyone. Yeah, so it kind of depends on who you're launching to, how familiar they are with you. And some people are just they don't like long form sales pages, so they don't do them. So it's kind of a personal preference as well.
Yeah. Awesome. And so do you kind of take your personal sales call approach and put it into something that people can read through?
Sort of. I have actually, like, I have sort of a structure that I follow that I've found converts really well. And then I sort of change it up a little bit, add or remove certain parts
Mm-hmm.
depending on like how long the page needs to be, or, if you're selling like a $47 workshop, you can have a much shorter page than if you're selling like a
That's me. I need to
$2,000
sell one for
program.
Wednesday.
Yeah, you can have a pretty short page, no problem. People don't need as much information when they're making that small of an investment.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I need to make one tonight. I've procrastinated even selling this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
no,
do
yes, I will do
it.
it. I mentioned it like my go-to is always like I'm just gonna like put it out there on Instagram and like
Hmm.
see what happens, and then I kind of like do what I need to from there based on that
Hmm.
response. So this was kind
Yeah,
of a last minute like, oh, people are interested in this, like let me put this out there. And yeah, but I need to do a sales page today. Getting
yeah.
me in the
That's
mood for that.
actually that's a great way to like test your offer. Is to just kind
Mm,
of put it out there, see if people are biting and interested in what you're offering before you create all the things. That way you don't like waste time or money creating things for
mm-hmm.
something that no one wants.
Yeah, no, that has been huge as I've created just different things beyond our signature services at Pinegate. Um,
Hmm.
Last year, I think it was last year, I launched a course, and I just launched it and sold it, and I had nothing done.
Hmm.
I just went into week one and created that content. And then during week two, I created that content. And by the end, I had a course, and
Yeah.
I didn't have to create this huge launch plan or anything like that. It worked
Hmm.
out really nicely in that regard. And now I have the course and I'm able to launch it whenever I want because it's just there.
That's super smart. And you can pay attention to like what questions people are asking and sort of tailor the content and get a general idea, get that language that we talked about, even for like your sales copy based
Mm-hmm.
on like what people are talking about as you go through the program. It's just a really smart way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just the hardest to actually begin. And sometimes people think it's going to be this huge, complicated thing because you hear about all these crazy courses and the courses you have to take on building courses and all of that. And it gets very overwhelming quickly. But I think these things can be a lot simpler than people sometimes think they are.
Agreed, for sure.
Awesome. So do you have any products or services that you're offering that you would like the audience to check out?
Sure. So, my main offerings are done for you copy for websites, sales pages, and then like email nurture sequences, whether it's for like an just your general opt-in or for a launch or a funnel. Those are the main things that I offer. And then I have a couple small services that are like jump on a call with me for an hour to go over a piece of your copy together. And then I
Mm,
also do like video website reviews. So I'll go through all of your website copy, record a video to share with you so what can be improved and, take steps from there.
awesome. And where is a place that somebody can find you online?
Yeah, so actually have a free guide that I would love to share with everyone. It's called 5 Steps to Copy That Stands Out and Sells, and it kind of walks you through 5 general steps that you can apply pretty much to any copy that you write, to make it more impactful and speak to your people. And that's on my website at christinebluebaugh.com, or you can just go to bit.ly/sales page workbook.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for everything that you shared today. I want to go update all my copy now.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's super fun to chat. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hey guys, I'm here to chat about an online system that I can't get enough of. I'm sure you hear from a lot of online business owners who've been scaling their businesses and about how having systems in place that work for them have been essential for their growth. Putting systems in place might be getting solid processes down, or it can be using a program like Seva to run your email marketing. When it comes to growing my business, the more intuitive something is, the better. Seva, which was formerly ConvertKit, is by far the most intuitive and easy to use program that I have ever used when it comes to growing your email list. They have easy pop-ups you can use on your website, forms that send out free downloads for content upgrades on your blog posts, and 24-hour help if you ever run into a snag. They have amazing customer service and have even helped us custom code some beautiful forms for our clients with no extra charge. I love that they're able to do that, and it's always so helpful. We use Seva here at pinegateroad and always recommend them to our clients. If you're saying yes, please, to an intuitive system for email marketing, head to pinegateroad.com/email to grab a free 30 days to start growing your email list and upping your marketing game. Thank you so much to our sponsors for making this show possible, and thanks to you for taking the time to spend some time with me here today. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or catching up on past episodes, head to pinegateroad.com/podcast to learn more. Sending lots of love, and remember, you've got this. See you next week.